Hi everyone, this is Stephanie from the Blend team. In this video, I'm going to show you one of our most exciting new features in Blend, our word work mat for spelling. The word mat is a perfect complement to our decks and playlists features in Blend that focus mainly on the blending drill and visual drill. Now from the same tool, you can work on spelling and segmenting words with your students using the word mats in Blend. We designed this tool around the usage of Elkonin boxes to teach spelling. This allows the student to break down each word into its phonemes, each represented by a box. Then they can place graphemes in each box to spell the word and emphasize the mapping between the sounds and the graphemes. We also have a special heart tile that helps in spelling heart words or irregular words. And we have built-in support for syllable division with Elkonin boxes. I'm so excited to show you this tool so you can jump into it with your students. So let's get started. First, let's talk about which devices we recommend for using Blend. Blend works on all browsers on desktop, laptop, tablet, and smartboards, but we don't recommend using it with mobile devices or tablets in portrait mode. Great, let's jump into the tutorial. You can access the word mats by going to the Blend app and clicking on the Word Mats tab at the top menu. Word mats are a Blend Pro feature, so you'll need to be logged in and subscribed to Blend Pro to access them. All right, I'll go ahead and log into my Blend Pro account and I'll go back to the Word Mats tab. You'll see that we have two preloaded word mats, one for A to Z tiles and one for advanced sounds. The first mat has individual tiles for each letter of the alphabet, plus a special heart tile. The advanced sounds mat has more tiles that emphasize specific concepts, but still has all of the A to Z tiles so that you can form whatever sounds you want to work on. And we still have that heart tile that you can use to work on irregular words. Both mats have all of the functionality that I'm about to show you, and you can choose whichever mat works best for your students' needs or that aligns with how you like to teach these concepts. Let's take a look at an example of how to use the word mat with the A to Z tiles. When you first open the word mat, you'll see three modes at the top of your screen that you can select from that allow you to manipulate syllables, sounds, or graphemes. By default, graphemes mode is selected so that you can start spelling words in an unstructured way if you wish. But if you'd like to use the Elkonin boxes, you'd want to toggle sounds mode on so that you can count the phonemes within a word before you spell it. Then you can simply tap or click on the screen to add new sound boxes. I'm going to go ahead and reset the board so that we can go through an example. Let's count how many sounds are in the word dog. In dog, we have d, a, g. This leaves us with 3 sound boxes. Now we can go back to graphemes mode so we can add the graphemes that make up each sound. When manipulating the graphemes, you can either drag or tap to place them. This works great on either desktops and laptops or on touchscreen devices like iPads or smartboards. Awesome, we've now spelled our first word using the word mat. Great, let's spell another word. You can click on the reset button to get rid of all the tiles and boxes on the mat. And then we can go back into sounds mode to count the sounds in, say, the word cat. You'll then have your student repeat the same steps, but say they made a mistake in spelling the word cat by using the letter K as the initial sound. You can remove a grapheme tile from the mat by either dragging or clicking on the tile and placing it in the delete area that pops in at the top of your screen. Now we can go ahead and place the correct tile in the first box, which is, of course, the letter C. Now let's check out another feature, which is using the heart tile to spell irregular words. So let's spell the word want. You can have your student tap out the number of sounds that they hear in the word want, just like we did before. Then you can have your student start by placing the tiles that they know in the word want that make the expected sound, which are W, N, and T. And then you can work on the sound that they have to know by heart, reminding them by placing a heart tile under the second box, which makes the ah sound. And that is, of course, the letter A in the word want. Here's another example of using the heart tile with the irregular word from. Great. Let's take a look at how we can use our Blend word mat for multisyllabic words. Let's try spelling the word robot. We recommend doing this by first counting the syllables in the word. We'll enter syllables mode by clicking in the top menu and then tapping or clicking on the screen for each syllable that we hear in the word robot. Now that we have our 2 syllable boxes, we can go back into sounds mode and count the number of sounds within each syllable. We'll click inside the first syllable box to add 2 sound boxes, and then repeat in the second syllable as we count 3 sounds. Finally, we'll go back into graphemes mode so we can add the tiles and finish spelling robot. Great! Before we move on to an example using the advanced sounds mat, I want to show you another way you could use this mat when spelling word chains. In the previous examples, we would always reset the mat between each word, but I want to show you in this example that you can continue to add and adjust the grapheme tiles on the mat in a way that works really well with word chains. So we'll repeat the steps and form a 1-syllable word with 3 sounds. Then we'll start spelling our words. We'll start with the word bag, and we'll move to beg, to big, to dig, and so on, manipulating the tiles to spell different words where only one sound is changing at a time. This is a great way for your student to work on identifying the sound that is changing and then finding the grapheme tile that corresponds to that sound. I want to show you one last example using the advanced sounds mat of what it looks like to not only move around the grapheme tiles while you're working on a word chain, but also how to change the structure of the word by adding and removing sounds and syllables even mid-exercise. So we're going to start by spelling the word hop, like we did in the other examples, and then we're going to build on this word. Say you want your student to tell you how you would change this word from hop to hopping. Of course, we'd need to go ahead and add another syllable, and then within that syllable, one sound. We'll go back to graphemes mode and add the suffix ing, but now of course this says hoping instead of hopping. And now we can work on the doubling rule, making sure that the student doubles the letter P so that we can keep the short O sound in the second box. I won't talk through the rest of this exercise, but you'll see that you can add and remove syllables, sounds, and graphemes throughout the entire exercise, which is a really dynamic way to use this word mat. You only need to remember that you need to switch the mode that you're in order to manipulate that particular element on the word mat. That is going to be it for this video. I hope that it was helpful and that you're excited to try this new feature out with your students and transform them into spelling superstars. Comment down below what other tutorials you'd like to see from us, and make sure you subscribe to the Blend Reading channel so you don't miss out on any of our new videos and features. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy blending!